Jeffrey is well-known performer on Cleveland Avenue and elsewhere.
By the time I'm 18?
Yeah. You remember Jeffrey putting out mixtapes? I Came From Nothing in 2011. Remember those mixtapes?
I remember I Came From Nothing mixtape, but the exact dates that they came out, I don't remember that.
That's okay. But by the time those tapes were coming out, Jeffrey had a good following. Is that fair to say? He was popular.
Yeah.
And he was performing throughout Atlanta. Is that true? Yes?
Yeah.
He was performing South Georgia. Is that true?
Yeah.
In Alabama, right?
Can't remember the exact states, but I know he was performing.
Remember Florida and South Carolina?
Oh, I remember Savannah, because they used to always have over the spring break. Savannah used to have, it was a tourist attraction area over the spring break. Peach Creek, Orange Crush, something.
Do you remember by 2012, the next year, Jeffrey's about 21, you'd be about 19. 2013, Jeffrey's with a record label. You know who Gucci is?
Yeah.
Tell the ladies and gentlemen, Jerry, who that is.
Tell
Who Gucci is.
Another Atlanta artist, rap artist.
And do you know if he signed Jeffrey to the record label?
Yes.
And then in approximately 2012, 2013, so Jeffrey would be approximately 21, 22. You'd be about a year and a half under that. Jeffrey was with a gentleman named Brian Williams, Birdman, and doing Rich Gang. Do you remember that?
Yeah, but I don't know no dates though.
That's okay. That's okay. And do you remember that 2013, 2014, Jeffrey had gigantic hits playing on the radio throughout the world?
I'm sorry. I'm not asking Mr. Steele the question. I just didn't hear it. I didn't hear it. Date.
You can rephrase it, Mr. Steele, or repeat it. Repeat. We're just asking you to just repeat it.
By Mr. Stevens, by 2013, 2014, do you remember Jeffrey having big hits? Stoner, you know that song?
Yeah.
Danny Glover, you know that song?
Yes.
Lifestyle, you know that song?
Yes.
Were they all, in your opinion, major hits?
Yes.
Okay. And by that time, Jeffrey's approximately 22, 23. You'd be a year and a half under, so you'd be approximately 20, 21, something like that. Does that sound right?
Yeah, yeah.
Now, I'm sorry.
No,
I did not mean to interrupt you.
no. So you keep on saying the 2 years. Every time his birthday change, mine change.
Exactly. Was that it?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember during that time, 2013, 2014, seeing Jeffrey come up in magazines? People writing about him in Rolling Stone and Complex. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Nah, I can't. I don't recall that.
You remember him having followers on social media?
Yeah.
Lots of followers. You remember that?
Yeah.
And during all that time, from when you met Jeffrey to the time we're talking about, we stopped approximately 2013, 2014 for now. How many times did Jeffrey Williams ever commit a crime in support of Rock Crew, to further the interests of Rock Crew? Tell the jury.
I don't recall. I don't recall.
Does that mean no?
Objection, Your Honor.
A standing objection.
How many times has Jeffrey committed a crime? We're going to go up to that year because we're going to keep talking other dates, okay? How many times has Jeffrey committed a crime to further the interests of YSL gang?
I don't recall. I don't know.
You were committing, and I'm not insulting you.
Right.
I'm not trying to insult you.
Right.
But you were committing crimes during that whole time that you met Jeffrey until we stopped about 2014. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
You were committing crimes such as theft, right?
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Potentially drug dealing. I know that came later, but potentially around the drug dealing. Is that true?
Yes.
Potentially armed robberies. Is that true?
Yeah.
And armed robbery means that not only did you take like my possession, like if I was the person targeted, you took, let's say my watch, but you did it with an offensive weapon, like a knife, a gun, brass knuckles, something like that. You understand that's the term?
Yeah. I ain't robbing nobody though.
Okay, that's why I'm asking you. So it was thefts, fair to say?
Yeah.
True?
True.
Okay. And you did that because you wanted instant gratification. You wanted whatever, the laptops, the jewelry, the car, whatever it was. You wanted it right then, right?
I don't know why I did it.
Okay. Now, when you said earlier that in approximately, and if you didn't use this date, that's fine. That's fine. Somewhere around 2012, 2013, 2014, something like that. You wanted to change from identifying as Rock Crew to a new place, YSL. Is that fair to say? You said something like that?
Yes.
And I know the dates are not perfect. And that's you made that clear. No one's trying to trick you. But can you tell in an age or in an event what possible year that was? And if you can't, just say it was around that time. I don't know.
Oh. She I know the date. She told me the date. It was like
You mean in your plea agreement?
no, she said something about October when it happened. Or I think me and my lawyer went over it. When that statement was made.
Which statement are you talking about?
That you saying that I no longer want to go by Rock Crew.
If that's not what you said, don't worry about what I said. I thought that's what you said.
Yeah.
Okay.
You asked me about the date.
Approximately. If or a year, a year or something like that. If you know, and if you don't know, Mr. Stevens, just say it,
Yeah, I know. I was telling you. I know. I remember me and my attorney talking about the date that was pops had.
Let me ask you a different question. Do you remember a gentleman named Javaris Crittenton?
Yes.
You know who that is?
Yeah.
Tell the ladies and gentlemen, jury, who Javaris Crittenton.
Who he is to me? Or
One more time.
who he is to me?
If you know, what did he do for a living? How about that? What was he known for? Did he excel at something?
You went to the Foundation.
I have them on the cross first.
Well, still, I sustain it. You can rephrase it.
You know whether he excelled at an sport?
Yes.
What sport?
Basketball.
Okay. And was there ever a time that you found out, whether it's true or not, I don't know, whether you believe that Quentin Porter or Boo, or Big Boo, told Javaris Crittenton that you robbed him? Did you ever hear that?
Yeah, I heard that.
Okay. And is that the reason, tell the jury, that you wanted to separate from Rock Crew because you wanted to show that you were not happy with Mr. Porter?
Yeah, I answered.
Oh, the objection. Yes, sir. Sir, you can answer the question.
Yeah.
Now, at the time that YSL was the label, the letters, whatever, the term that was chosen, my understanding that you were in a room.
Yeah, objection is to Mr. Steele's understanding and testifying.
I sustain the objection.
I'm on cross-examination.
So what? You still can't testify, Mr. Steele.
You were in a room, is that fair to say? It was it outside or inside?
What's the start of the question?
When you feel like and you remember that you were going to call yourself YSL, were you inside a building, a room? Were you outside at a park? Do you remember?
No, I don't remember.
I couldn't hear you.
No, I don't remember.
Okay. Do you remember Jeffrey being there?
No, I don't remember.
Do you remember Walter Murphy being there?
Mm. I already said I don't remember like the time or none of it. The time, no, I don't remember.
Now, I'm not asking you about the time, but do you recall wearing a belt buckle with YSL on it? You ever wear a belt buckle like that?
Yeah.
You recall conversations saying you didn't want to call yourself Rock Crew anymore, and people saying, we're going to say YSL. You remember that on your belt buckle?
Yeah.
And with those people who were there, Jeffrey,
Question.
is that true? And if you don't remember, just say I don't remember.
But you said at a room though. I don't remember like the exact place it was happening.
Don't worry about where it was. Wherever it was.
Yeah.
Jeffrey was there. Walter Murphy was there.
Yeah.
Was Mr. Crenshaw there?
Crenshaw?
Mondo?
Nah.
Mondo. That's fine. All right. Now, Jeffrey, or you, knew that Lil Wayne, he would sing about like a record label. Do you know that? Cash Money, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And during that conversation, was Jeffrey, tell the jury, was Jeffrey looking for a logo, a record label to sing about, even though he didn't have one?
Yeah.
And it was decided YSL, and you had decided I'm not Rock Crew anymore, right?
Right.
Now, I want to talk with you about your incarcerations since you've known Jeffrey, okay? since you've known Jeffrey, you were charged with crimes in 2014. Is that true?
Yeah.
2015. Is that true?
Yeah.
And then this indictment, 2022. Does that sound right?
Right.
If I left anything out, correct me. And there may be a couple of different crimes in those years, but those are basically the years. Is that true?
Right.
Tell her, ladies and gentlemen, jury, since you knew Jeffrey Williams and since he was popular and had money, you know, he has money, right?
Yeah.
Tell, ladies and gentlemen, jury, in 2014, how much money he gave towards your attorney fees.
No.
2015. Tell, ladies and gentlemen, jury, how much money Jeffrey Williams paid towards your attorney fees.
No.
When you got arrested on this case, charging you as a co-indictee, that's a bad word. That's a bad word. Forget that. Charging you. Give me 1 second, okay? Your Honor, may I approach?
You may, sir.
Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes, you may, sir.
May I approach you, sir? I'm showing you what's already been marked and entered. It says State's Exhibit 23UU. I'm just moving the first page. You can look at the first page. And then the second page, you can look at the second page. So the 6th page I'm showing you of that document, you can look the whole thing, but are you familiar with the indictment in this case that you pled guilty to in count 1?
Yes.
Okay. And Jeffrey's also named in that same indictment, fair to say?
Yes.
When you voluntarily turned yourself into custody, right? No one, am I right?
Yes.
Voluntarily turn yourself in, just explain that to the jury. Tell me what that means.
I got some phone calls from like family members saying that my name was on the news for my indictment, and my grandma helped me get a lawyer, and I turned myself in.
Okay. You came to the court, the jail, somewhere,
Yeah.
and you said, I understand there's a warrant. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, to jail.
And you came with a lawyer.
Yes.
You just said your grandmother paid.
Yeah.
Did Jeffrey Williams, so ladies and gentlemen, jury, in any way assist you in any way with any finances?
No.
When you said that you're a founder, when it's been testified to, of YSL, how much money have you ever made from Jeffrey Williams?
No.
Now, when you were arrested, when you turned yourself in and you had a lawyer, tell the ladies and gentlemen, the jury, who that lawyer was, who your original choice lawyer was.
Thomas Flugan.
And how much money did your grandmother pay to Thomas Flugan to represent you on this case?
$50,000.
Was that a large sum to your grandmother?
Yes.
And Thomas Flugan is not the young lady who handed you the jacket, right?
Right.
Tell ladies and gentlemen, jury, what happened to your representation with Mr. Flugan.
Mr. Flugan told me that he had to withdraw because his wife caught cancer and he was going to have to be with her at the beginning of this trial.
What happened? How did you get the Honorable Miss Christy Gladden to represent you? Can you tell ladies and gentlemen, jury, how that happened?
Thomas gave us half the money back. We paid him. And Miss Gladden was my attorney for when I went to prison. So I reached out to her because I knew she knew me.
Now, when you were, after you turned yourself in with your lawyer, were you able to secure a bond? You know what I mean by bond?
Yeah.
Tell the ladies and gentlemen, jury, what bond is.
When you've been charged with something and you get a bond, bail.
Okay. So, you remember the date or approximate date you turned yourself into custody on this case?
Think like it was May. I don't remember exact date.
Okay. May 2022?
Yeah.
And then in front of you, you were released after you took a plea agreement, right? You were released, you went home, right?
Yes.
And that was approximately December 29th, 2022?
I remember it being December.
You could look at the second page of the document that's in front of you. Think the other way. So, yes. Should have a date on it. Should be. And look at it. Make sure you know.
Yeah. Oh, man. I don't see it.
May I approach your honor?
You may, sir.
Thank you. May I approach you, sir?
I see my birthday. I don't see it.
Okay. May I come up closer?
Yeah.
See December 29, 2022.
Yeah.
So, I want to talk with you. You spoke a lot with the district attorney about your guilty plea being freely and voluntarily. Remember all those questions?
Yeah.
And you remember that nobody coerced you. Do you know what coerced means, sir?
I mean, I know what direction.
Nobody had like a gun to your face to make you. Is that true? No one forced you, right?
Right.
Okay. But I want to discuss with you what was going on around December 29, 2022 when you entered that guilty plea, okay? Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right. You had been in custody, that means without a bond, for approximately 7 months. Does that sound right? Let's do it differently. May, you turn yourself in, right?
Mm-hmm.
In June, you're in jail.
Mm-hmm.
July, you're in the Fulton County Jail, correct? True?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
August, September 2022,
Mm-hmm.
October 2022, true?
Mm-hmm.
November 2022, and most of December 2022. So approximately 8 months. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Okay. And tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury how many children you have.
I got 3 boys.
And can you give your ages? Their ages.
2 8-year-olds and a 12-year-old.
And during the time that you're in jail, who are they staying with?
Their mother.
And how many mothers do the 3 children have?
How many mothers?
Yeah.
Oh, they each have their own mother.
And who was helping out? Well, you were in jail for approximately 7 or 8 months. Were you able to help out financially or emotionally any of your children?
No.
When you were in jail for approximately 7, 8 months, were you able to help out emotionally or monetarily any of your children's mothers?
No.
And your lawyer, the Honorable Ms. Gladden, do you remember when you hired her to be your lawyer?
Not the exact date.
Let me show you what I'll mark as Mr. Williams number 16, and I'll fill in the book. Ready for it, sir?
Yes, you may, sir.
And first, you can see, I'm going to show you what I've marked as Mr. Williams number 16. Tell me if you recognize that document and if it helps you to remember the date that Ms. Gladden became your lawyer.
You want me to read it?
To yourself, you can read it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The date on here.
Okay, that helps you? Did you recognize that document?
Yes.
I'll move for the admission, Mr. Williams, number 16.
Your Honor, I ask how you recognize him.
Yeah, lay a little more foundation, Mr. Steele. I'll sustain the objection.
Do you recognize that document?
Yeah. I'll read it.
Said twice, Your Honor, yes.
Your Honor, I ask how the objection was foundation. How does he recognize?
Sustain the objection.
Okay. How do you recognize that document?
I read it. You just told me to read it in my head.
Okay. And is it from your lawyer, Ms. Gladden?
Yeah. Yeah.
And does it say that she's your lawyer?
Objection, Your Honor.
Just
The foundation has come from a witness, and this recitation of what may or may not be on the document does not form the proper foundation for his knowledge of that document.
Can I see the document, please? Chris. Yeah. Mr. Steele, I'm gonna sustain the objection as to form the foundation. He knows what the basis of that particular document is.
What date did you hire Ms. Gladden, approximately?
Do I look from the paper or from my knowledge?
Helps refresh your memory, you can, but then testify as to what you know.
Um, so, as I'm reading the paper, it says it's an entry.
No. You, when you're finished with the document, put it down and then you can testify from it, okay? Testify is your memory at that point, okay?
No, I don't remember the date that she.
And approximately how long before you entered your plea on December 29, 2022, was Ms. Gladden your lawyer?
I know I hired her in December and entered my plea in December too.
So a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
All right. And do you know how much you paid Ms. Gladden to represent you on this case? Goes.
I won't rule the objection, Ms. Love. Go ahead, sir. You can answer the question, sir.
All right. Nah, because my grandma did. My grandma, I don't remember. I don't know how much she paid her.
Do you know if Ms. Gladden works with a big law firm or is she a solo lawyer?
I think her firm named after her. Her firm is named after her, so I think she got a firm.
And does she handle other cases?
Yeah.
And do you know that from coming to court, you know the length of this case was estimated by district attorney to be a year trial? You aware of that?
Yes.
And you knew from the money that your grandmother paid, if you know the exact amount, if you don't, that's fine. Did you believe that Ms. Gladden was going to represent you on that trial for a year?
Objection, Your Honor.
I sustain the objections to form. You can break it down, Mr. Steele.
How much discovery were you provided in this case at the district attorney's office?
I remember. I remember going over in the iPad with me while I was in court. I was in court.
Remember hearing 8 terabytes of discovery?
I remember the word terabyte.
Okay. And do you remember you could not get out on a bond?
Yes.
And you just missed Christmas? Is that true? When you entered this plea?
Yeah.
And the prosecution came to you and said you can get out of jail immediately if you enter this guilty plea with conditions. Is that true?
I didn't say immediately, but they said I can get out of jail though.
Didn't you get out the same day you entered that guilty plea?
Yeah.
Speak up, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, in the Fulton County Jail, tell the ladies and gentlemen jury about the food.
Mm-hmm. No, I ain't really eat it. I don't eat noodles and stuff. And tuna. But it's bad though.
While you were in the Fulton County Jail, tell the ladies and gentlemen jury about people getting killed in the jail.
Yeah, I was hearing about people dying. Yeah.
While in Fulton County Jail, how many times were you able to go outside in those 7 to 8 months?
So the gym got windows, but you don't go outside though.
I couldn't hear you.
You don't go outside.
And is it fair to say, Mr. Stevens, the way you were living, there was urine? True? In the Fulton County Jail?
Yeah.
Mr. Stevens, pull the mic in front of your face so we can all hear you, okay? Speak in the microphone.
Yes.
There was feces. There was people's bowel movements.
Yeah, from the toilet, yeah.
How about outside the toilet?
They got a toilet answer. Yeah, that probably still going on, yes.
Okay. Vomit?
Oh yeah, it was some vomit.
You were living in filth. Is that fair to say?
It was pretty filthy.
And you did have access to TV at times, right?
Yes,
But sometimes there was no TV, right?
yes,
And physical contact, like where we could shake hands with your family members, your children. Tell the ladies and gentlemen, jury, how many times that happened during those 7 or 8 months.
no.
And you were able to speak with friends or family on a video, audio, or a telephone line. Is that true?
Yes,
Between certain hours.
yes,
On certain days of the week, right?
yes,
And when you were on, let's say, the video, audio, it's a little screen, like an iPad, I guess, right?
yes, it's like, yeah,
But there's people around who can watch and overhear you. Is that true?
yes,
It's not very private, right?
yes,
Same thing with the recordings, the jail calls. You can make a jail call to someone at the jail phone, rather, from the jail, but also there's people around, right?
yes,
And the video, audio are recorded, right? You know that.
yes,
And the jail calls are recorded, the telephone calls, right?
yes,
So there's not much private conversation with your family or friends. Is that true?
yes,
You lost employment opportunities, right?
yeah. I wasn't employed while I went to jail.
Was it?
I wasn't.
And then when you were given this plea offer to get out of jail, I know that no one coerced you, that's forced you, put a gun to your face, God forbid. And you keep saying it's freely and voluntarily made, but it's under those conditions, right?
Yeah,
Now, if you did not plead guilty, you were facing 20 years in prison on count 1, RICO, right?
yes,
You are also a recidivist, which means that you would serve every single day of the sentence, the longest possible sentence. You realize that?
yes,
So when the district attorney asks you, is it freely and voluntarily made and no one put a gun to your face, except those are my words. It has to be put in context, right? You wanted to go home, right?
right.
Now, in your plea agreement, I'm going to show it to you. Can I approach?
You may, sir.
I just see something, I'm gonna approach,
You may, sir.
I just see something that needs captured. Okay.
Now, Mr. Stevens, if you testify something contrary to what you signed on December 29, 2022 in this plea agreement, tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what could happen to you.
If I testify something,
Let me change it. Do you mind if Your Honor, may I withdraw that question?
You may, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Stevens, that's a bad question. If you were to say something under oath today or Friday or not Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, or tomorrow, that is different than what you agreed to on December 29, 2022? Tell the ladies and gentlemen jury what can happen to you upon motion of the district attorney.
I can have my probation revoked.
Tell the ladies and gentlemen jury how long that probation is for.
8 years.
And tell the ladies and gentlemen jury what it means to have probation revoked.
That you will no longer be on probation and that you'll have to serve that time in prison.
Now, when you were going through this factual acknowledgement, on page 4 or 5, exhibit numbers.
16 uniform.
May I approach with a copy of 16 uniform?
You may, sir.
Approach you, sir.
Yes.
I'm showing you, you can look at the whole document if you need, but I'm at 4 or 5. You see where I get that?
Yes.
Okay. And it's number 5 is kind of in the center of the page. See where it says defendant's sentencing acknowledgements?
Yes.
Read, if you don't mind, or I can read it if you'd rather. Make sure I read it correctly, though. Read number 1, then number 2, and number 3 slowly and speak to the jury.
I understand if I violate this plea agreement, the district attorney can and will use this statement during any judicial proceeding. I understand that if I violate any portion of this plea agreement before, during, or after the initial trial of this case, I am subject to having the entirety of my sentence revoked to prison. I understand that any violation of this plea agreement may result in my entire sentence being revoked and the district attorney will, Go ahead. I understand that any violation of this plea agreement may result in my entire sentence being revoked and the district attorney will recommend that I serve up to the maximum sentence allowed by law in Georgia Department of Correction prison.
Now, we want to go over that plea agreement as well. If you're on my approach, you may, sir. On 16U, any touches? It's on page 2 or 5. I'm getting that from here. And it's on number 4. You see where it says defendant's factual acknowledgements? You see that? Read, if you don't mind, to the jury's factual acknowledgement number 1.
Young Slimelight, aka YSL, is an organization made up of 3 or more members or associates who share common identifiers that include but are not limited to colors, hand signal, and terminology who have committed crimes intended to increase the notoriety, street credibility, and reputation of YSL.
In number 1, when the district attorney, who prepared that document, by the way? When I say that document, 16U.
Excuse me. I don't know.
Okay. In number one, does it say anything about Jeffrey Williams doing anything to promote the interests of the gangs on what you just read?
No.
Number two, read it to the jury.
Defendant is one of the founding members of Young Shrine Life.
Number three.
Defendant committed aggravated assault as alleged in Act 1 by brandishing a gun at an undercover police officer that was surveilling a vehicle that was hijacked from a woman.
Nothing to do with Mr. Jeffrey Williams, right?
Right.
Okay. Number, I think we're up to four.
In October of 2014, defendant was arrested with a red bandana and defendant was observed with a YSL tattoo and the Cleveland Air Rock Crew tattoo amongst other tattoos.
Number five.
When asked by law enforcement about defendant's YSL and Rock Crew tattoo, defendant truthfully advised law enforcement that defendant is a member of a gang called Rock Crew, but the group is no longer going by that name and now goes by YSL, which originally stood for Young Shrine Life.
Has nothing to do with Jeffrey Williams involved in furthering the interests of a gang, does it?
No.
Okay. Number six.
Defendant advised law enforcement that YSL originally stood for Young Shrine Life, but the group began calling itself Young Successful Lifestyle after Jeffrey Williams, aka Young Thug, signed a record deal.
Jeffrey was becoming very successful, true?
True.
Number seven.
The statements defendant made to the police about Rock Crew and YSL are reflected in Section 3 and Section 4 above and are true and accurate.
Nothing about Jeffrey furthering the interests of any gang, right?
No.
Okay. Number eight.
Defendant has been accused of and arrested for robbing women.
Okay. Number nine.
Defendant is the person referred to as Tick in the song by Young Thug entitled Ill in the verse she getting robbed by Tick.
And ooh is EWW. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
You know that song?
Yes.
Okay. And when were you charged with robbing a woman? Do you remember the date? October 2014, do you remember all that?
My attorney just told me that, yeah.
And you saw some documents?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Were you aware that who was created in the spring of 2014?
Mm-hmm. I ain't know. I don't know.
Because you're not with Jeffrey when he's doing all that work, are you?
No.
Number, you help me here, but I believe it's number 10. And if I'm wrong, just correct me.
Yeah, number 10. On February 4th, 2021, defendant participated in a group chat with fellow YSL founder Jeffrey Williams, aka Young Thug, and YSL associate One Elite, aka Slime Like Shuttleware, and Jeffrey Williams stated YSL was the word, kid. Y'all just started bringing me the money. Man, y'all stop playing with me.
I want to show you, if you don't mind, look at your indictment. Let me get you the page.
Okay, was that Mr. Stevens on number 10?
February 4th, 2021.
Is that over at 127? If you don't know, that's fine.
I don't know. No.
It's okay. do me a favor. In that same document that's in front of you, the bigger document, and remind me of that number on it, the exhibit number.
Um, 23. Yeah.
Okay. And if you could turn to over at 127 of that indictment. Do you know how to do that?
Turn to page 127.
No. Over. May I approach, John?
You may, sir.
Not if I just take it for a second. So this.
Oh, all right. I see your numbers. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You want to do it?
Yeah.
127. And just tell the lady and gentlemen what page that is of that indictment, please.
Now,
Say again?
you ready now?
Please.
Oh, page 47.
I'm going to show you what I've already shown to the Honorable District Attorney, what I'm marking as Mr. Williams number 17.
70.
Second. May I approach, sir?
You may, sir.
Mr. Stevens, do me a favor. I'm not showing to the jurors on purpose. I'm not trying to be rude, but just do me a favor. Just make sure that this is the same thing verbatim so the jurors can then see it. And verbatim is a bad word, but make sure that what I'm showing you is Mr. Williams number 17 is what's written in number 127. Okay.
Yeah, that's the same.
Okay. Your Honor, I would move for purposes of demonstrative Mr. Williams number 17.
Hey,
This man disappeared 48 hours ago.
This close. You gotta stop now.
Should never have touched this case.
Mr. Stevens, I'm putting this behind you, but you can use, we can move that if you want, or you can use the exact indictment, okay? This way the jurors can see it too, okay? Now, in your plea agreement, may I approach one more time?
you may.
See your plea agreement 1 second. May I?
Well, yeah, no.
I'll give it right now. And this is number 10 in the plea agreement, okay? If I'm wrong, just correct. All right. Now, I'd like to show, you're familiar where this comes from, this excerpt comes from, aren't you?
Yeah.
And this is a chat, right? This is a private chat. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And is it on Instagram?
Yes.
And you're in that group chat or along with Mr. Williams and other people, fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. And the prosecutor put in a part of that chat. Do you remember seeing that this morning?
Yeah.
And that was not the entirety of the chat, was it? What the prosecutor put in?
She did show me. It was that she showed me. I don't think she showed y'all. I don't know.
Okay, but do you remember it being 25 UD? Wait, I'm wrong, not 25 UB.
I don't know.
regardless, I'm going to show you, okay? I'm going to show you the chat. Tell me if you recognize it.
Yes.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as Mr. Williams number 2. Take a peek at that. Tell me if you recognize that. It should be a 2-page document.
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, I move.
Yes.
I heard you. And thank you, sir. Your Honor, I move for the admission of Mr. Williams number 2.
No objection at all.
All right. Depending on witness 2 is admitted, many purposes you see fit.
Thank you, Mr. Kokomo. It should come up on your screen, but you can use it right in front of you, okay, Mr. Stevens? Mr. Stevens, Mr. Kokomo must be having a little difficulty. Let me ask for the court's permission if you want to publish it. I'll just show you Mr. Williams number 3 while he's doing that, okay? May I approach, Your Honor?
You may, sir.
Tell me whether you recognize that market, Mr. Williams number 3. You recognize what that is?
Yes.
Okay, and does it accurately depict a screenshot?
Your Honor, before getting into that, I object and ask that the witness testify how he recognizes it.
I stand as to form.
Is that part of the chat?
Yes.
Okay. And I know it's a piece of paper, but is that a screenshot of what was attached to the chat?
Yes.
Okay, Your Honor, I will move for admission to number 3 of Mr. Williams.
Any further objection, madam?
If it, I know that he testified that it's an accurate depiction, so I'd have to foundation delay.
All right. I think he testified it's accurate of what
No,
was.
you didn't ask him that.
Is it an accurate depiction of a screenshot of what was attached to the chat that we're talking about?
Is it an accurate depiction?
Okay, these are bad words. Is it accurate as to what was attached to the February 4th, 2021 chat as an attachment?
I don't know if this the exact picture, but this is what we were talking about.
All right, and I'll show you the exact picture, okay?
Mhm.
Your Honor, with that, I'll show him the exact picture.
I'll show it to him, see. You can continue to lay your foundation.
Can you do it? I'm sorry?
Hold on a second, Mr. Steele. He's trying to be. All right, try now, sir.
Okay. Mr. Stevens, what's up on the screen is now Mr. Williams number 2. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. And we'll just start at the top of this page. Do you see the page number on Mr. Williams number 2, what it says on the right-hand side?
Yes.
What, just to announce it, just so we know that we're looking at the same thing.
Number 2.
On the screen.
Oh, yeah, it say 1603.
Okay. And then do you see the very top, it says author. Do you see that what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. And who is underscore all hundreds dot rel? Remember?
Yes.
Who is that?
A guy from the neighborhood named Real.
Name what?
Real.
Rev?
Real.
Rev. Okay. Rev. Are you?
Yeah.
Okay. And then what was the date this was sent? Do you see the next line?
The March 2nd, 2021.
Okay. Could you, and that's fine. Could it be February 3rd, 2021?
Yeah, I don't know. I was just reading left to right.
Okay. Okay.
Madam.
And the next line, it says body. You see that?
Yes.
And what is body, if you know, in this type of chat? Okay.
Thing like the subject or something.
Okay. And what does it say?
I like fitting.
Do you know what the rectangles are next to it by any chance signify?
No.
That's okay. And then the next author, 120 with 2 Y's. You see that?
Yes.
And then that's sent the same date,
Yes.
2/3/21.
Yes.
And then it says Floyd got him beat. You see that?
Yes.
Do you know what that's referring to?
Yes.
Tell the ladies and gentlemen jury.
I think 50 Cent and Floyd Mayweather was talking about fighting. So
One more time.
I think entertainers 50 Cent and Floyd Mayweather were talking about fighting.
Okay. And Floyd Mayweather is what is he?
A box.
All right. Next one is again, plenty. You see that with the 2 Y's?
Yeah.
And you see the date again, the same date?
Yes.
And then the body, you don't have to use the curse word or the N word, but you see where it says this S, mom, kids. So I hope N ain't going outside and talking. I can't speak for the other chat because I'm not on it. I'm glad you good slat. You see that?
Yeah.
And you know what that's about.
I don't know.
Who are mom's kids?
Huh?
Who are mom's kids?
That's the name of the group chat.
Okay. The next one is, you see where it says Young ZU?
Yes,
Okay, you know who that is?
yes.
Who is that?
Another guy from the neighborhood.
Okay, you see the same date?
Yes.
And then Young sent an attachment. You know what that means?
That you sent an attachment?
Yeah. Tell ladies and gentlemen, Jerry, what that means.
Someone sent a picture.
Okay. Then the next one is, again, Young ZU. You see the same date?
Yes.
And then, will you do this is what's written, right?
Yes.
And then the next author is you, correct? Underscore one slug.
Yes.
And it's the same date?
Yes.
And you see what you wrote?
Yes.
And tell ladies and gentlemen, Jory, what you wrote and what you're talking about, if you remember.
Let's say he posted in the other chat. He's saying this. So. I really don't know. Something.
Okay. Is Guttis a person?
Yes.
Okay. And you wrote that, say he saw it in the other chat, he's seen it himself, right?
Mm.
You're talking about seeing some picture or item?
Yeah.
All right. The next one is from Gutta, one underscore. You see that?
Yes.
And he's responding to you. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
And what did he say?
So somebody told him I only sent the video in the other chat.
Okay. Do you remember what video he's talking about?
No, I think they talking about. I ain't sure, but I think they talking about somebody slept with somebody's girlfriend. I don't know.
Okay.
I think that's where they were going though.
Okay. The next one is, the author is Booley, Y1. You see that?
Yeah.
Now we're on the next day. You see that 2/4/21?
Yes.
Okay. And then you see what it says, date created, it says unknown.
Yeah.
And above that says body, Instagram user sent an attachment.
Yeah.
Tell the ladies and gentlemen, jury, is it the same attachment you just said, like a picture?
Yeah.
Okay. And then it says underneath that, you see where it says under text, T-E-X-T, you see what I'm talking about?
Yes.
And it says yo at Little Uzi Vert. You see that?
Yeah.
Do you know who Little Uzi Vert is?
Yes.
Tell the ladies and gentlemen, jury.
Entertainer rap artist.
Okay. And do you see the next one, URL?
Yes.
It gives an Instagram.
Yes.
Okay. The next one is author 4KT. You see that?
Yes.
And you see it's the same date of February 4th, 2021.
Yes.
And what did he write?
This real.
Okay. I want you to think about it. Do you know what he's referring to?
Yeah.
Tell the ladies and gentlemen, jury, what Forte is talking about.
He sent he was talking about an image of the little Uzi Vert. He had implanted a diamond in his forehead, and he was asking, did anyone know if it was real or not?
The next one, again, is Forte. You see that?
Yeah.
And it's the same date of February 4th, 2021. You see that, sir?
Yes.
And then the body, that N, Uzi Crazy, and then the rectangles.
Yeah.
F it, I guess, when it's up, it's up. You see something like that?
Yeah.
All right. The next one is, again, under underscore all hundreds, rel. Dated same date. That boy take a punch in the head, it's over. You see that?
Yes.
And what, if you remember, is that referring to?
The diamond and implanted in his forehead.
And whose forehead?
Uzi Vert.
Okay. And the next one again is for KT. You see that?
Yes.
And the next one is same date is all hundreds. You see that?
Yes.
And then you see what it says on the body?
Yes.
What does it say?
The proof sent an attachment.
Okay. Is that the same thing, a picture or video?
Yeah.
All right. On the next page, you see on the upper right corner what page number that is?
Yeah.
You see where it says, what page number is that, sir?
1604.
Okay. And then you see under the text,
Yes.
and what does it say?
It's a competition now. Tory Lane just got a 87 billion piece put onto his forehead now.
And who is Tory Lanez.
Not a rap artist.
And what is your group referring to in this?
That he ain't supposed to put a diamond in his forehead, or implant in his forehead.
Mr. Steele, can I ask you to pause just a second? Sure. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a break? Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna take a break. Plan on coming back a little right before 4 o'clock, and then I'll let you know what the rest of the day will leave for you. Okay? All right. So remember my admonitions. Can ask you to retire to your headquarters. All rise. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Our jury has left us. All right, we're going to be in recess till a little before 4 o'clock, okay? All right. All right, we're in recess. Yes, Mr. Stevens, you can step down, take your break, don't schedule testimony. Anybody
District Attorney.
You let Ingram know that we're about ready. All right, can we have Mr. Stevens rejoin us, please?
Since you're up here. Yeah. It's number 3.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. All right, thank you, sir, Ingram. All right, ladies and gentlemen, just to give you kind of a little planning, we're going to go for probably a little less than an hour or thereabouts, and we're going to recess for today and for the day, and then I'll tell you what we're going to do tomorrow. Okay? All right, Mr. Steele, whenever you're ready, and whenever you get your AV set up, you may begin. Okay?
Yes, sir. And
All right.
Your Honor, with the court's permission, can Mr. Kokomo approach Mr. Stevens and show him the exhibit on the computer?
As long as he doesn't make any furtive movements, he'll probably be okay, right? Do you understand what furtive means? Okay, don't worry about it. Just there's no sudden movements toward our witness, okay? All right, come on up.
Y'all hold get in line.
Yeah, it's lower.
Yeah, sorry, my apologies.
Mr. Stevens, did you see those 2 items that you were just shown by Mr. Kokomo?
Yes.
And do they fairly and accurately depict what was depicted on the chat that we're going through, which is, I believe, Mr. Williams, number 2?
Yeah.
Let me ask a better question. Is that part of the chat that we're talking about?
Yes.
Okay, both of them. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Your Honor, I will move. I'm not up to it yet, but I will move for the admission of, and I believe I marked it, Mr. Williams, number 3.
Any objection to Williams 3?
For clarity, is that just the last video that was shown?
These are 2. You should have 2 different,
Number 3? Is it the 2 videos
Yeah.
or just the last?
one picture, one video. Same exhibit.
Okay. There's no objection to the state.
All right, so defendants 3, which is a photo, a screenshot, and a video, are admitted and may be published as you see fit.
Okay. Your Honor, can we go back to, I believe it's Mr. Williams, number 2, where we stopped before the last break? If Mr. Kokomo can put that back on where we were, Mr. Stevens, okay? Just orient yourself. We're just waiting for it to come on the screen, okay?
Excuse me, Mr. Colonel, you need permit.
It should be allowed.
Thank you. If you, Mr. Colonel, can you read that, Mr. Colonel?
Yes.
And we enable to share.
Yes.
While they're working that out, Your Honor, may I just proceed?
Yes, yes, sir, you certainly may.
Okay.
Mr. Stevens, I'd like to show you what I'm marking as Mr. Williams number 4. Excuse me, Mr. Kearns, would you let me in? Oh, did I got it up? Yeah.
Okay, while Ms. Love is looking at number 4, let's go back, okay, to where we were. This should be Mr. Williams number 2. Is that right? That we were talking about?
Yes.
Okay. So, you see where it says now at the very top of page 1604 on Mr. Williams number 3. You see that? And you already talked about that, right? The 87 billion piece?
Yes.
Okay. And then if you go down the next one, you say author is underscore all hundreds dot rel, right?
Yes.
They tripping now. Tell ladies and gentlemen, Joey, what that means to you in this context.
It looked like he was talking about the amount that this person said he paid for his implant.
And what type of implant?
Diamond implant into his forehead.
Okay. And then the next one, 2BZG9 cap. You see that?
Yes.
And what does that mean? Cap with a K.
He's saying that he don't believe the first author.
All right. Now the next one I'd like you to focus on. The author is Thugger1. Whose Instagram handle is that?
Jeffrey Williams.
All right. And this is, again, February 4th, 2021?
Yes.
And do you see what Jeffrey Williams wrote?
Yes.
What did he write?
YSL rule the world, kid. 24M on in head.
Okay. I'd like to now show you your next line. You responded thereafter, right?
Yes.
4 minutes later or 8 minutes later, approximately?
Yeah.
True?
Yeah.
And that's the same date, February 4th, 2021 we're talking about?
Yes.
And this is all in the indictment, right?
Yes.
And then you wrote what?
Came from nothing for something.
All right. And then there's another video being shared on the next person, right?
Yes.
All right. I'd like to now play for you. You've already identified Mr. Williams number 3 and 3A, okay?
Yeah.
And show it to you and you walk the jurors through what it is. Can you show, when you can you play it with sound, please? Can you restart it with sound, please?
Hey, y'all open in line. And slime with the world. Later, put me on the head. You know, put 24 in front of your head. Y'all open in line.
Who is that speaking?
Jeffrey Williams.
And what did he say, ladies and gentlemen, jury, to your understanding? And what's he talking about?
He's saying he's talking about Uzi putting the diamond on his head. He's saying the price of what they saying that the diamond costs. And he's saying YSL rule the world.
You show, please, Mr. Kokomo, Mr. Williams, number 3. You see that picture on the right?
Yeah.
And who is that, if you recognize that person?
Uzi Vert.
And the rapper that you talked about earlier?
Yes.
And what is on the center of his head, or purportedly, that means what's it supposed to be?
Implant of a diamond.
And does he say $24 million?
Yes.
All right. Tell the ladies and gentlemen jury, is that what the chat was about that is referenced in overt act number 127, count 1?
Yes.
What does that have to do, just tell the ladies and gentlemen jury, with expanding and helping the reputation of YSL gang? Tell
them.
Yeah. How does that help the reputation in a criminal setting of a YSL criminal street gang? How does this statement by Jeffrey have anything to do with a crime?
I don't know.
Okay. Tell the ladies and gentlemen jury how this increases street credibility for a gang crime organization.
I don't know.
Tell them how this increases notoriety for a criminal street gang. Tell the ladies and gentlemen jury how this overt act, what was taken by the prosecution in this chat, does that.
I ain't never said any of those things.
Good. It's in your plea agreement, right?
Objection, Your Honor.
In your pay, hold on, basis.
Not evidence.
I'm gonna overrule the objection. Go ahead.
In your plea agreement, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. It's also in the indictment, right? You're familiar with it?
Right.
Okay. I'm going to ask you, this chat, is this public? Meaning, if one of the jurors or the court reporter wanted to read it without being a search warrant, law enforcement, would they include it in this?
No.
Was this anything to broadcast to people to beware of YSL, the criminal street gang?
No.
This has nothing to do, this is just friends talking, right?
Right.
Okay. I'm going to show you what I've marked. It shows the district attorney, Mr. Williams, number 4. If I approach your honor? Yes. Yes. Yes, listen, yes. Let's just see if I'm approaching, okay?
Yeah.
It's number 4. Anything, by the way, before we leave Mr. Williams, number 2, anything else significant about that chat that has applicability to any type of criminal activity for a criminal street gang or some criminal organization?
No.
Okay. Take a peek, if you don't mind, at number 4 of Mr. Williams, dated today. And familiarize yourself with that as best you can, and just tell us when you're ready to discuss it, okay?
All right. It's a lot. I'm just reading over.
That's fine.
I'm ready.
I couldn't hear. I apologize, Mr. Stevens.
I'm going faculties and attachments.
One more time.
I said I was flipping through the last one because they just attachments.
Okay.
Yeah, I ain't got nothing to read.
Okay, that's fine. Take your time. Tell us when you're ready.
All right.
Does what is shown to you as Mr. Williams number 4, does that accurately depict the chats that you were included in around the time in February 2021 that we're talking about?
Yes.
Okay. And are there anything that you remember, except for the attachments? I know it's paper, there's no attachments, but is it accurate otherwise?
Yes.
Your Honor, I move for Mr. Williams number 4 to be admitted into evidence.
Any objection to Defendant Williams 4?
No.
All right, Defendant Williams 4 is admitted and may be published as you see fit.
Mr. Kokomo, can you try, my friend? Thank you. Okay. Now, Mr. Stevens, the date that Mr. Williams number 4 starts is February 6, 2021. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
And you're looking at the top of page what?
1698.
All right. And you've been able to scan through this. Do you remember this chat?
I'm trying to remember that direction the conversation was going in. But yeah, I remember it though.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
And I couldn't hear what you said.
I said I was trying to remember the exact direction that the conversation was going in with.
And is it fair to say that this chat is about different things, but it's about paying rent money?
Yes.
And who was the participants about who's paying rent, the concern about paying rent? Who was talking about that?
Let me go through and read.
If you don't mind, just tell us who the people are that's talking about paying the rent.
Yeah.
And tell us what page you're on and where you're looking.
All right.
You look at page 1, by the way?
Yeah, I'm on first page.
Okay. And that's 1698?
Yes.
Okay. And just tell us where.
So I started at the bottom of 1698.
Okay, Mr. Kokomo, if you can go there. No. Okay. And is that you, the third one up from author on the bottom, _1 slug? You see that?
Yes.
Okay, now this is the 6th of February 2021, right?
Right.
Before we go too far, is it fair to say that this is now 2 days after the Little Uzi Vert 24M's on an N's head. Is that true?
Yeah.
Yes. So in the indictment, when it has count number 127, and it states that this is on February 4th, 2021, this next series of conversations is actually 2 days later. Fair to say?
It does not say count 127.
Sorry. I agree.
Why don't you just rephrase, Mr. Steele?
Overt Act number 127. We're now about the last part. If you look at Overt Act 127,
Yeah.
it says, y'all just start bringing me the money, manual, and stop playing with me. See that?
Yes.
This is 2 days later, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, now let's go. So we're at the bottom of the first page on Mr. Williams number 4, and it says, since everybody, you see that where you wrote that?
Yes.
All right. And it reads, since everybody on the tight, I think it means time, let's chop up 1,500, or let's chop this 1,500 up that we do yesterday the 5th. You see that?
Yes.
Tell the ladies and gentlemen, jury, what exactly you're talking about.
When I said since everybody on the type terms, they above, you got two guys talking about the Chiefs and the Buccaneers game. So that's what I mentioned by the time they on that they was trying to bet on the game, and I was short on the rent.
Okay. And you sharing this place with other people, did they have to potentially chip in, or should they potentially chip in for rent?
Yes.
That was your position.
Yes.
And they're betting on football.
Yes.
Okay. And if you need to do it differently, just do it. But if you turn to page 3 of this document,
So the 3?
actually 2, the very top of 2.
Mine not number 1, 2. Mine number 1699.
Let's go up a little bit. Go up a little bit. 1699 is perfect. Just go up a little more to see who wrote that, please. This is 4K Tay. And what's he talking about there? You see where he writes on 1699, the very top?
Yeah.
What's he talking about?
I'm one of the ones ready to pay whatever he need me to pay.
What's he talking about as far as you remember in context?
He's saying if someone needs some help, he ready to help.
And what's it for?
For rent.
Okay. And rent means on a house, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then if you keep going down on that page, 1699, anything on that page that is important to the rent?
Yeah, I said nobody paid these people.
Okay. And what are you talking about?
The people we were in the house for.
Next line that you wrote? What does that have to deal with?
Y'all can just put what y'all got in the kitchen whenever y'all come in.
And what is that pertaining to?
Like basically, if you got something toward the rent, you just leave it in the kitchen and I know what it's for.
Okay. And then Thugger 1 is right after that saying yo. You see that?
Yeah.
All right. Then on the next page, unless you tell us there's something else that's important to the context of this chat, this private chat.
Yeah.
See where it says can't afford no 1,500 month? On page 1,700.
Yeah.
And who is writing that?
Me.
Okay. And this pertaining to what? The rent?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it fair to say that this whole chat, there's other things, there's football in there, there's other conversations, but it's about rent?
Yeah.
Okay. And then if you go to the middle of that same page, you see where it says I paid last month?
On 1701. What page is?
Hold on one second, Mr. Kokomo, to a page. Go down, Mr. Kokomo. Go up a little bit. See on 1700,
Yeah.
talking about rent?
Yeah.
Okay. And you see where it says on the next page, which is 1701,
Yeah.
the middle of the page, it says, middle of the page, Mr. Kokomo, when you get a chance. See where you wrote the center of the page, you all know I paid last month rent by myself. Here goes some right here. Slug, I know what you did. You see that?
Yeah.
You're talking about what?
I paid the rent by myself.
Okay, no one's helping you pay rent, right?
Yeah.
And you're struggling at this point, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Then if you go to anything, tell us if we're skipping anything important. But otherwise, if you go another 4 pages on the bottom, see where Jeffrey comes in? Thugger. See where it says probably you, Slug, probably paid. You see that?
What page you on?
You paid? Let's see.
Oh, yeah.
What page you on, sir?
1705.
1705, Mr. Kokomo, if you don't mind. See where it is right there? Third one on the screen. Thugger 1. Probably you, Slug. You paid it.
Yeah.
Boy, you see that?
Yeah.
What's that talking about, sir?
He said he proud of me for paying the rent.
One more time.
He said he proud of me for paying the rent.
Okay. He's proud of you.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the next page. See where Jeffrey Thugger wrote, bring me the money?
Yeah.
What's he talking about? Y'all start, you see that? Just start bringing me the money, really?
Yeah.
Talking about paying the rent and you guys can pay him back?
Yeah. So, no.
Okay.
You're basically saying, because he was helping out, and he was basically saying, like, I'm helping out while my money ain't making it to the right person hand that it's supposed to be making it to.
Okay. He's helping guys out with the rent, right?
Yeah.
What does that have to do with, you see overt act number 127 in your indictment?
Yeah.
That helping out with rent was on the 7th of February 2021, right?
Yeah.
3 days after the $24 million surgically implanted on the gentleman's head, right?
Right.
What do they have to do with one another?
No.
Okay. And what is so sinister about Jeffrey helping out when you can't pay the rent? Sinister is a bad word. Let me redo. What is y'all start bringing me the money have to do with increasing the reputation of a criminal organization? Tell the jurors.
Your Honor, I'm going to object. The court should give the law.
I'll stand. You can rephrase Mr. Steele, okay?
This is in your plea agreement, right?
This being what, sir?
This statement is in your plea. You agree that this.
What are you referring to?
Okay, number 10, I believe, in your plea agreement. I believe it's number 10. If I'm wrong, just correct me. Is it?
Yeah, it said I participated in the group chat.
Right. With this line, right? With this line in it?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell the ladies and gentlemen jury how this private chat about rent has anything to do with enhancing the notoriety, the street credibility, the reputation of a criminal organization.
My, I agreed to this because it said that I participated in the group chat, and that's what I did. So,
I understand. Let's go to the chat though. Why is that chat inappropriate?
I only reason I agreed to it because it said I participated. I didn't know other reason.
There's nothing to do with any crime, right?
No.
You know, I object again.
I'll sustain the objection, Mr. Stevens.
You are part of this conversation, right?
Yes.
Tell the ladies and gentlemen jury how this conversation had anything to do with any crime that Jeffrey participated in at all.
You know, I object.
I'll sustain this the form of the question, Mr. Stevens. You may need to rephrase it.
Mr. Stevens, does this conversation that the jurors just went through, and they can read the whole thing, they'll have it. It's in evidence, okay? Have anything to do with Jeffrey involved in any type of crime that furthers the interest of any gang in any way?
You know, I object.
He's part of the conversation.
The law.
I sustain the objection.
What's the conversation about, sir?
One of it was about an implant, and one of it was about rent money.
Now, I'd like to talk with you about overt act number, if you could turn to it in your indictment. 132. Do you see that?
Yes.
And I'm going to show you. Can you do me a favor? If you think this, I've already shown it to district attorney. I'll go to market in a minute. Just tell me whether that, can you hold it for me for a second, is copied exactly the way it is in the indictment.
Yes.
Your Honor, I'm marking it as Mr. Williams, number 18, for demonstrative purposes asked to display to the jury.
Any objection to defendant's 18 for demonstrative? Any objection, Madam? All right, defendant's 18 for demonstrative purposes admitted and may be published as you see fit.
Thank you, sir. I'm putting it on the easel. Mr. Stevens, it's the same thing. You could use the indictment if you need to see it behind you. It's right behind you. Okay. Mr. Stevens, I'm going to show you Mr. Williams, number 7. All right, approach, Your Honor.
You may, sir.
Tell me whether you take a peek at this, if you don't mind, sir. Tell me if you can recall and recognize what I've marked as Mr. Williams, number 7. So, this is it.
I read it.
Okay. And do you recognize what I've marked as Mr. Williams number 7?
Yes.
And is it accurate? Meaning, is it your memory? What was the check?
Yeah, this in the chat. Yeah.
Okay. Your Honor, I move for the admission of Mr. Williams number 7 into evidence.
Any objection to defendant Williams 7?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, defendant Williams 7 is admitted and may be published as you see fit.
Okay. Now, Mr. Stevens, while Mr. Kokomo has put this on the screen, this date now is approximately, what is it, May 13th, 2021. Is that correct? That this chat is going on?
Yes.
And again, this is an Instagram chat, correct?
Yes.
And it's between you, Mr. Williams is on there as Thugger 1, right?
Yeah.
And then other people, friends are in there, right?
Right.
And this is not something that's public. Is that true to say?
Right.
This is just a private conversation until now it's in open court, right?
Yes.
All right. And in this group text, and it starts at page 3242, you see that at the top?
Yeah.
Tell the ladies and gentlemen, jury, what's being discussed.
I'm trying to see if I can remember. So you want me to read it from the top?
We could, but do you remember? Did it refresh your memory about a gentleman?
I read it before.
Okay.
I mean, of course, this was one of my overacts in the indictment.
Right.
That's why I read it.
Okay.
And I was then trying to make some sense out of it.
Okay, well, let's tell ladies and gentlemen, jury, what it is. Is it fair to say there's a man named Instagram handle, Gutta, Gutta, on this?
Yes.
And you're having conversation along with other people with Gutta, you remember that?
Yeah.
And is it fair to say that Gutta falsely told your girlfriend that you were cheating on her, something like that? Is that true?
I feel like that could have been what it was about.
Okay, well, let's go through it. The first one is on page 3242. That's just an attachment. You see that?
Yeah.
And you wrote, put my life on the line, the gang, but they left me out and dry like a wet t-shirt. You see that?
Yeah.
And then you attach something, fair to say?
Yeah.
All right. And then the next one is plenty with 2 Y's. And then it has the 2 triangles we've been talking about, right?
Yeah.
And then the next one, plenty is saying in the body, Gutta lane, right?
Yes.
And Gutta is a person.
Right.
On this chat. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
And then Gutta responds, keep my name out of your mouth. You see that?
Yes.
Okay. And the next one is plenty, YY. You heard what I said, any N running to the gram about SHIT. He can text an N is lame. So you lame, and now what? You remember that?
Yeah.
And then Gutter responded. What are they talking about?
Yeah, I feel like Carter was um, telling people girlfriends what they were doing, and I feel like it was something about that though.
Okay. And when you say telling people's girlfriends about what they're doing, people on this text, right? On this chat. And telling them about that they may not be faithful to the girl, right?
Right.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay. And then as we go down it, you start responding on the next line, right?
With Pi Prime, you can make pizza here, back here, and even way up here. You can make them fancy, like this, or keep it simple, like this. You can share with friends, or keep it all to yourself. You can be an artisan pizza pro, or maybe less so. You can do pizza your way with an oven that's simple enough to be your first and powerful enough to be your last. Pi Prime Pizza Oven by Solo Stove.
Yes.
Right there. You see at the very bottom of page, and on the screen it says Bash What Gang.
I see it.
Okay, keep going down. And that's now page 3244. And then Thugger Thugger 1, where Jeffrey's handle says, y'all ain't beat him up or shot him yet, right?
Yeah.
And that's the part that's captured in Overt Act 132, right?
Yes.
And then the next line is, y'all ends getting soft, right?
Yeah.
Who is Jeffrey talking about? You ain't beat him up or shot him yet. Do you remember?
If he said that, I feel like he was saying,
I stand the objection.
But do you know? Do you remember?
so I mean what he was talking about or who he was talking to.
Yeah. I mean, he was talking to who? Who's Jeffrey Williams or Thugger Thugger 1 talking with? In the chat.
Gotta be talking to both of us.
Right. And how did you take it?
Like, I'm surprised y'all ain't beat each other up or shot each other yet. Cause y'all seem like you're arguing about some female stuff.
Meaning you and Gutter Gutter, right?
Right.
Or Gutter, excuse me. Right?
Right.
What does this have to do with anything involved a crime organization? This chat. This is not.
I stand the objection.
Not asking for the law, Mr. Stevens.
I stand the objection, so
Underphrase.
Okay.
This private conversation was telling two friends, stop it, right?
That's what I got from you. Yeah.
All right. Okay. I'd like to show you what I've marked as Mr. Williams number 5. First round.
You may, sir.
I am going to approach you, with your permission, Mr. Stevens. Number 5, Mr. Williams, if you could take a peek at that, tell me if you recognize that as part of the chat. Remember that, Mr. I'm not rushing, Mr. Stevens. Take your time.
Can I get what's before this? I have no. Can I get what's before this?
Yeah, we're going to do that.
Oh, you asked me, do I? What you asked?
We're going to get you what's before, and then we'll get you several pages. Is that what you need?
Yeah.
No problem. Let me show you what I've marked as Mr. Williams number 7. I believe number 6, I promise. Tell me if you recognize this, okay? Burn it on?
Yes, sir.
I will get you 1 page of the other one. I take that other one back for a moment. Remember that one, Mr. Stevens? And I'm not trying to rush you.
I don't remember, but I'll read it.
No. We're going to put it down. All right. Thursday, you were asked questions about on your birthday being at going to see, paying $500 to go see one of your favorite artists. Remember that?
Yes.
Okay. And you were asked a question or a series of questions. Why weren't you with Mr. Williams in Louisiana on your birthday? You remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to talk with you about that. Have you ever been taken by Mr. Williams to his concerts?
Yes.
Have you ever been taken on tour or part of a tour with Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Let me show you what I'm marking as Mr. Williams number 19. Tell me whether you recognize this. John?
Yes.
Take a look at that. If you don't mind. Can you take this one back?
Sure.
Thank you.
Excuse me.
Can you look at that, Mr. Stevens? Tell me whether you recognize that. You recognize that?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
No.
All right. Do you remember Mr. Williams going on a tour of the United States of America and performing in year 2015?
I know about the rodeo tour, but I've never seen the book before.
That's fine. That's fine. Tell the ladies and gentlemen, jury, if the rodeo tour was Mr. Williams touring and performing throughout America.
Yes.
Okay. And do you remember he was touring with another artist?
Yes.
Do you remember who that artist is?
Yes.
What's the artist's name?
Travis Scott.
Okay. And do you remember that tour started? Let me take a moment. On February 28th, 2015. Do you remember approximately that date? That's okay. Do you remember the cities and the states that were toured?
No.
Do you remember California? Does that sound right?
So I know that it was like Western states. That's why it was named rodeo or something like that.
And were you allowed to go on part of that tour?
Yes.
And do you remember what city or cities or state or states you went to?
No.
That's okay. And do you remember there came a time that you and others were accused of wrongdoing on that tour?
Yeah.
And that is committing crime, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And do you remember Jeffrey Williams repaying any victim of those crimes?
But I ain't commit no crime though.
Okay. Do you remember him? I'm not saying you did, but you were accused. Somebody thought you did, right?
Yeah.
True?
True.
Do you remember Mr. Williams paying people who lost their property, trying to make it right? You remember that?
I don't know like what happened, what ended up happening behind the allegation.
I couldn't hear you.
I said I don't know what ended up happening about behind it.
Is it fair to tell, ladies and gentlemen, jury, that you were sent home from that tour?
I was sent home.
You were told by Jeffrey that you could not continue, right?
Right.
Okay, so when the district attorney asked you later that year on your birthday, why weren't you in Louisiana? You were actually sent home from a tour, right?
Yeah.
Now, the district attorney said a lot of questions to you about YSL like they're one. Remember all those questions, like YSL's like a group, always together. Remember all those questions?
Objection compound.
I send the questions to form. You can rephrase it.
Okay. Do you remember questions about YSL is together? Remember that? Her asked you those questions?
Yeah.
Jeffrey Williams, early life, he was not on Cleveland Avenue much, was he?
No, not early.
He separated from Cleveland Avenue because he was working, right?
I don't know what the reason was, but yeah, he went there.
And he was working at the same craft that he does today. He's a performer, right?
Yeah.
And you knew that eventually he had homes, various homes, right?
No, I ain't know.
You never knew he had homes in California?
Oh, I know now, but yeah.
Okay. And you weren't with him, right?
Yeah.
He didn't put you on the lease, right?
No.
He didn't take you with him, right?
Right.
He didn't pay for you to get out of Cleveland Avenue, right?
Right.
In fact, he didn't do that for anybody that you grew up with, right?
I know about me.
Okay, we'll talk about you. But Jeffrey would encourage you, isn't it true? And gave you opportunities to have a job with him if you wanted it, right?
He would encourage me to start selling drugs.
One more time.
I said he would encourage me to start selling drugs.
Yeah, he wanted you to stop committing crime, right? Tell the jury.
Yeah.
And he offered you jobs like you can carry bags for the group when they tour, right? Tell the jury.
Yeah.
And he gave you opportunities to try, I'm not saying it's for everybody, but try to perform rap music in the studio, right?
Yes.
He gave you opportunities, if you wanted it, to possibly try to organize, because they do a lot of packing up the equipment and the luggage, right? And pack for people, right?
It was an opportunity for me, man.
But you wanted the instant money like a theft, right?
I wasn't trying to do none of this stuff, man.
I can't hear you.
So I wasn't trying to do none of this stuff.
I don't know what you need. Just explain your answer to it.
Yeah, yes, I want instant money. Yeah.
And what Jeffrey was offering you is not, he wasn't just going to give you money, but he gave you opportunities to change your life, right?
Most definitely was an opportunity.
I couldn't
Yes,
hear
it
you.
was an opportunity.
And he gave opportunities, if you know, to everybody in poverty. True? If they wanted to work hard.
Now, I'm going to check the speculation regarding everyone.
I sustain the objection. It's overbroad. Go ahead and rephrase it, sir.
To your knowledge, Jeffrey made that same commitment to other people who were struggling. True?
I'm going to object.
Still, same issue, Mr. Steele. I'm sustaining the objection. It's overbroad. So rephrase it, please.
Do you know whether Jeffrey made that offer to others?
Still broad. You want to make it a little specific, more specific?
Jeffrey gives an opportunity for lawful work in YSL record company music to other people. If you know.
I sustain the objection.
Mr. Stevens. Eventually you got off drugs, right?
After prison.
Couldn't hear you.
After prison.
And you don't do drugs now, do you?
No.
And when you went to prison, that's different than the jail. That's different than Fulton County Jail, right?
Yes.
And prison is horrible too, isn't it?
Yes.
You're away from your kids, right?
Yes. Yes.
You could be 5 hours away, depending upon where you're put, right?
That's true.
Dangerous.
Yes.
And when you've been in prison before, how often did Jeffrey Williams come to see you?
He didn't come see me.
I can't hear you.
None.
So according to the prosecution, you're business partners, right? That's what they're saying. You're co-founders. You really didn't co-found anything with Jeffrey. Isn't it true? He went one direction, you stayed with another. Isn't that true?
We went separate ways.
But Jeffrey never turned his back to you. He always made himself available if you needed something. Isn't that true?
Yeah.
He let you come to his home, right?
Yes.
If you were going to be put out from your house, he would pay that money for you one time, right?
He help out.
I can't hear.
He would help out.
Okay. But most importantly, he wanted you not to live a life of crime. Isn't that true?
Yes.
Mr. Steele, it might be a good time to just put a pin in for today. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's 5:15, and as I mentioned to you earlier, just 1 second. Mr. Stevens, we're going to recess for today. So what I'd like you to do is come back tomorrow morning. Sure, if you can be here for 10 o'clock, okay? 10 o'clock. All right, yes, sir. All right. Remember not to discuss testimony of anybody except the attorneys in this case, okay?
All right.
All right. right, ladies and gentlemen, let me go through with you the customary ad knowledge and admonitions. Remember to leave your notepads in your basket. Um, remember not to discuss the matter, anything you've heard uh, amongst yourselves in small groups or while you're while you're going home this evening, or when you get home with your loved ones and others that might be interested in the goings on and your comments in that respect. Um, how are we doing on notepads? We good? Okay, all right. And what are you going to do if some third party tries to talk with you about this incident or about this case? What? You cannot discuss it, and you're going to do what if that happens? You report it to me, and it's on you. Yes, immediately. All right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we really thank you for adhering to these admonitions. Again, what I told you as I did earlier, they ensure a fair trial, just trial, and lawful trial as to all sides. So we appreciate your diligence with that. We also appreciate your patience with us and your continued patience as you continue to hear this matter. So it's not lost on any of us that as well. So we thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, any questions of me at this point in time, ministerial in nature? Okay, just to update you accordingly, we are going to have should have a regular work week until Thursday. Tomorrow, the 9th, we're going to start. I'd like y'all to be here for 10 o'clock. So we'll probably start between 10 and 10:30. We should be working till about this time tomorrow. Okay, that's Tuesday. Wednesday, we may have kind of an abridged day because the court has some other business that I'm required to attend to. So I would advise you more on that probably late tomorrow, or early Wednesday. Thursday will be a half day. We're going to probably work till about almost noon. And then Friday, you will have a total administrative day, as I have other business I do have to take up on that day. And then that will lead us into the King Week. So the 15th we'll be off anyways. And then the 16th, 17th, 18th, and 19th. We will be in administrative pause, and we'll be taking up other issues at that point in time. So, just to recount, or just to give you those dates in advance, so you can make other plans accordingly. So, any questions of me thus far? Okay, all right. Ladies and gentlemen, unless you have any other inquiry of me, again, leave your notepads in the basket. Pick up a sticker. And we will see you tomorrow morning, bright and early for 1000 hours, and then we'll go ahead and get started when everybody's in place. All right? Okay. All right. Unless you have any other inquiry of me, all rise. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Our jury has left us. Okay, counsel, is anything I need to be made aware of, or any other ministerial inquiry of you?
Not on behalf.
Okay, how is our witness and other interviews going at this point in time? Is there anything I need to intervene in? I haven't heard anything from anybody. That's a good thing. So you all must be working that out accordingly. Yes, Mr. Brown, I'm looking at you. Okay, so is there anything I need to be made aware of?
Not now.
Okay. Any of them have any other counsels, defense counsels? Okay, all right. Unless there's anything else, we'll still, if you all could be here a little before 1000 hours tomorrow, we'll go ahead and start up sometime between 10 and 10:30, and we'll work accordingly, as I mentioned to our jurors already. Okay? All right. Before we leave, if you all could please go ahead and give us your electronic listening devices. And unless there's anything else, I'll bid you a good evening and we'll talk with you tomorrow. All right, we're in recess.